All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound, 154-pound division, where Errol Spence Jr. once again speaks out and has taken some shots at people ahead of this Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. rematch that should be taking place, I do believe, somewhere around the April-May timeframe. Let's talk about what Errol Spence Jr. had to say. And again, I'm going to harp on this because it's very important if we want to continue to have the fights that we want to see made, that we stop a lot of this drama and ridiculousness that we throw at fighters who actually take the chances and give people the fights that they want. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147 154-pound division, where Errol Spence Jr. speaks out very subtly, once again, about the snakes that are not around him where he is. Still very, very clearly feeling some of the angst from the reception or the reaction and the treatment that he has gotten in the boxing world, which I have to tell you, I think is one of the most clear examples of massive disrespect being put upon a fighter who's doing what people claim they want to see done, especially by this very fake, very phony, very paid for boxing media that we have. One that is so bad that it has been usurped by random people putting up YouTube channels and demolishing these dudes' ability to influence boxing fans. And I'm so happy. Even if I may disagree on occasion with different YouTube boxing channels, I am really glad that that the influence of the boxing media has definitely taken major hits. And one of the reasons why is illustrated by Errol Spence Jr. and Errol Spence Jr.'s reactions. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It makes a huge difference to the channel. But let's get into this because, it's one of my favorite topics. And as a lifelong, long as I can remember, lifelong fan of the sport of boxing, which is, a little bit over 50 years, as you can tell with the beard, with the gray beard coming in. By the way, shout out to Matty O, shout out to Barbara D, shout out to Aisha, shout out to all the ladies out there who come by the channel. I've been a fan for a long time, and boxing right now is in a situation where there are more haters out there on boxers for what they've actually done. I'm not talking about opinions of who's going to win a fight, not win a fight. I'm talking about literally taking somebody's career after one loss, trying to ball it up and throw it in the trash because you're trying to make a promoter look bad, or you're trying to make a network look bad, or you're just trying to rub somebody's defeat in the face of someone else that wasn't even in the ring. Happens on a consistent basis. So when Errol Spence Jr., who has given boxing fans over the course of his career, some of the best fights, one of the most consistent performers, although inactive for a lot of different reasons, but consistently fighting guys at the very top of his weight division with no tune-ups, takes a fight with Terence Crawford, loses the fight with Terence Crawford badly, and now every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there on the planet thinks they can beat him in a boxing match. It's like a kid loses one fight, and this is exactly how it used to happen when I was a kid, right? Called, piling on. Whenever I would get in a fight and I would fight somebody and I would win, before you knew it, even though nobody else wanted to try anything with that kid, all of a sudden everybody and their mama wants to start a fight with him. Some win, some lose, right? And or if somebody else lies on having beaten somebody up, somebody's going to test that kid, test that guy, and you may or you may not get checked. That seems like this is an adult version of something like that. Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence Jr. Now he's trash. Errol Spence, for the second time this week, has come out on his Instagram and referred to people stabbing him in the back and snakes in the grass, and both doing it in a very, what I think is a clever way, basically using pictures or representations of his children, who he's clearly focused on and being with. Right now, this last one, he shows pictures of his daughters who are going through a field. I don't know if it's a sugarcane field, something like that. But it looked like it was sugarcane, but some type of farm type setting in Jamaica, right? And he says no snakes in Jamaica. Again, Errol Spence Jr. has been doing this for a while, right? So people stabbing him in his back, and there being a bunch of snakes. And he also makes this statement that what is he? He's a loner preparing some associated with that, basically a popular loner, as in a lot of people know him, but he doesn't want to have a lot to do with a lot of people. It seems like his mind is really still set, though, on the way that he's been treated and the way his name has been bandied about in the boxing media by people. Now, I don't know if he's talking about anything that could be personal issues with his money, right? Like personal snakes in your life. I wouldn't think that would be it, because he just doesn't seem like that's his situation. He's always got his picture with his girlfriend, or maybe his wife now, I'm not sure, and his kids, but just is probably keeping his circle a lot more tight. Now, that said, the only real person that he's got to worry about is Terence Crawford. That's the real person that he's got to worry about, and that is not going to be that's not going to be an easy fight for him to win. But one of the things that I respect about him is he didn't hesitate in saying he wants to get back in the ring with that guy. And then you can say what you want. There's other people that are not built like that will lose a fight and are not really that anxious to get back in there with a guy that beat him convincingly. Case in point, Canelo Alvarez versus Dimitri Bivol, which is a fight we will probably never see again because of the way that fight went. I'm sure that Jermell Charlo ain't trying to get no second run back with Canelo Alvarez. And I don't think Jermell Charlo got beaten as bad by Canelo Alvarez as Errol did by Terence, at least not the severity of it. Like the gap in between the two was probably just as big. But because Errol was aggressive and Errol was trying to fight and trying to go at him, he wound up getting hit with a lot of big stuff. However, we'll see what happens, man. But I'm telling you, this stuff, the treatment of Errol Spence Jr. is in no way, shape, form, or fashion good for boxing, because we don't give people credit for having taken the fight and having done their best. And when you dog people out, don't be surprised if people in those situations do not make the fights that you want. And this is something that is done by boxing media as much as it is by boxing fans. But as Paul Magno, one of the best writers that there is in boxing, said about the boxing media, 90% of these guys, according to him, are paid for and work for promoters, and the other 10% are fascinated by the trinkets and the in-kind things that are given to them in order to impress them, like dinners and tickets to fights and a tour around people's mansions, to get these people to say some of the most hurtful and destructive things about boxing and boxers that they could do. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.